way out. Are you tired of winning? 'Cause it's already over. We were never enough, never enough. Are you tired of winning? No one's
Hey, this is Mark from Nothing More, and you're watching LA Metal Media.
LA Metal Media with Allie Jorgensen.
Hey everybody, this is Allie Jorgensen from LA Metal Media Magazine, and we are so excited. We're in Las Vegas tonight. CD release party. Nothing More. We got Mark right here from Nothing More. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Doing really good. How's the band feeling? All pumped up, ready to go?
Absolutely. This has been a real long time coming. Obviously, everybody going through the pandemic, finally out of it now, back to doing what we do. We're traveling, touring, and releasing new music to the world. So we're stoked.
We're super excited. And last night you played a big show in Los Angeles.
Yeah. At the Wiltern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it went really, really well.
Is there like a song that's starting to show as a fan favorite off the new CD?
That's interesting you said that. We all had our projections originally on what we thought they might be. And based on Apple Music right now, I don't know what Spotify's doing or other streaming platforms, but they just star things or whatever. So the stars have changed to the other F word, Face It, Best Times, and Spirits.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
I personally really, really like Spirits a lot.
Nice. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's get into it. It sounds more progressive to me. Is that something you guys planned, or did it just happen in the studio?
That's a good question. I think it is something we were cognitive about and aware. I think like first jamming Spirits and kind of like in the jam room, we kind of wanted some more space with sections and not necessarily hurry up. Let's get back to the chorus, Like, let's really kind of like just sit in this soft space in like the re-intro part in that bridge and kind of develop it. It's a little more jammy almost, which is different for us. A lot of times we don't spend enough time in those places. And then there's songs like Face It and even, Ships in the Night and Tired of Winning that kind of go off the beaten path a bit. And yeah, I think we were welcoming all of that aspect of Nothing More, which we have been more like, we need to kind of like get the song going. Let's make sure it's catchy and does what it needs to do for radio, etc. I think this one we needed a break from a lot of that and kind of like just wanted to explore and be a little more artistic.
Yeah. So with the huge success of Stories and 3 Grammy nominations and worldwide amazing acclaim for you guys, what were your thoughts? Okay, we're going to do a follow-up now. What was going through your mind right then?
Sure. We plan on 4 or 5. No, I have no idea. I mean, another nomination would be amazing. But honestly, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we're really happy with the music we created. And I think we always welcome the challenge or the pressure, just kind of like you're saying. It's like, how are you going to follow this up?
Right.
So we just kind of do what we do, and we don't know, what the next songs or the album is going to sound like right away. We just kind of have to get started and then just kind of see what's there. What are we inspired by? What has come to the surface? And then kind of once we have a big batch of work, we can kind of like cherry pick and basically get all of our favorites together and spend more time on those,
So obviously with the lockdown, I know that you guys, you had maybe just started thinking about the recording, and then everything closed down. Right. How did that affect the songwriting and the recording?
Yeah, fortunately it didn't affect touring or shows for us. We had just finished. We did that Ghost tour the end of 2019. Right. And then we were already we had some jam room time in November of 2019. Dan, Ben and myself, and then we were actually getting together. I think we were at Dan's house when like everything was sort of happening and everywhere was closing. So Ben, I needed to be back home. He went back to Phoenix. Johnny, who had just previously moved to Baton Rouge, so he was getting set up there and everything. So Dan and myself are in San Antonio. So everybody's apart, right? It's like, how are we going to do this? What's going to happen? We started jumping on the Zoom train and trying that for lyric writing and things. And when you're not in the same room, a lot of the times the magic is missing. it's hard to find that synergy and that, creative just energy that's there. So it took us a while to get accustomed to kind of the new platform of doing things in regards to being a collective like we are. But we didn't stop. And I built a studio in my garage. That's where all the guitars and bass were tracked, and we'd come over there and do that. Send stuff to Ben. We'd program drums, and then we booked studio time later that year. That's the only other time we saw each other in 2020 was just to get together for drum tracking. And we didn't see each other at all, I think, in all of 2021, except for Dan and myself, because we live in the same city, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Especially
really, really
new
sad,
record,
but that's the way it was for a lot of bands. So we did that, and then send stuff to Johnny, and then he'd put vocals and mix and all that stuff too. So it was frustrating. It was different. Things took quite a bit longer. But I think you can kind of, from these songs, you can feel some of that frustration and that pent-up aggression. And, this is an outlet for it, for sure. I think we needed some of it to happen. These songs wouldn't be there without that. So.
Yeah, kind of the synergy of what was going on around you.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I have a question regarding Alan Watts.
Johnny found him ages ago and really kind of showed us some of his stuff. It's like, this dude's awesome. This is cool. And even from the first conception of Nothing More and the first music we were creating back in 2003 and 4, we would always have Johnny would put little audio clips to like music or little instrumentals that we had, and it was sort of something we always did. On the album Save You Save Me, which was another singer, Johnny was playing drums on it, there were audio clips from Gandhi and from Martin Luther King.
Oh, wow.
And actually our old singer at the time, and we kind of like spread them throughout the record, much like the stories we tell ourselves and self-titled and even now. So it's sort of been something we always do, but once we kind of landed on Alan Watts, it was like, this is our dude.
He's got that voice and that magic sound, and again, that kind of brings me to like, this album seems a little more philosophical.
Absolutely.
And he just ties right in with all of that. So you have Spirits, the CD, you have The Test, which is amazing, and now obviously you have the graphic novel coming out. Is there a theme going on here a message you want to send out there to your fans?
The whole album's real introspective in a lot of ways. It is kind of this like duality in regards to like accepting your whole self. I think we all kind of dove inward through the pandemic and everything. We had so much time with ourselves.
Right.
But to really battle your own inner demons and actually kind of understand that it's like, you don't always have to shy away from your shadow side. That it's part of you, and that that's what it is to be human. We're both angels and animals, and sometimes you need to just be an animal, much like in The Life of Pi. It's like with Richard Parker, and he's stuck on the boat, and he tells this fictitious story of like how he survived being on the boat with a tiger, and you come to figure out it's like the tiger was him and what he had to do and murder these other people because they were going to murder him. And it's like this survival thing to where when Mama Bear kicks in, it's almost like you have to go there. So, and that is what it means to be human. We are all of those things. So I think there's a big theme of that. I think there's a big theme of, in Ships in the Night, we talk about the power of now, and that's a big Eckhart Tolle thing of just being present and focusing on being, not living in the future, not living in the past, but really absorbing everything that is now. Because the song Best Times goes into, a lot of the times you don't realize that you're in the best times until the best times are gone.
Right.
And that's, it's such a quintessential thing, but it is a sad reality that a lot of times people don't ever get to realize, and they just are always constantly worrying or focusing on like, man, remember those times, instead of just being. And we have that power. Everybody has that power to just be. So I think if we're gonna say anything to the world, it's kind of some of those things, and there's some of those themes in the album.
That's amazing. So I want to talk about the graphic novel, and I heard that it's about the 4 archetypes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you dive deeper into that, I guess.
Right. Yeah. It was really cool with Johnny kind of developing a lot of these, or the spirit test. And he kind of, he's a busybody for sure. He got real into this sort of personality test thing and wanted to develop his own thing. So he came to us, and I think we all kind of responded in the same way of like, this is really cool, but I'm not sure how it fits into what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so he thought a bit on that, and then got together with an artist, Micah Ulrich, and he developed a lot of the spirit characters that you see. And as soon as we saw that, it's like, this is badass. And it's like, let's involve the symbols, the stuff we've been using already, and kind of, pick these 8 different archetypes, spirit types, and really develop our world, kind of go further down the rabbit hole. For those fans that are interested, and it's like, well, what do these symbols actually mean? We had kind of developed an embellished language with them, but now there's so much more depth, and that's what's cool about the graphic novel. I kind of spearheaded like this story and kind of capturing some of these characters and whatnot. It is volume 1 contains 4 of these archetypes, and each of them has their own story. When you start reading it, you don't realize it's like, well, how are these all connected, all these 4 different stories? But by the last chapter, they do come together, and it all comes to make sense, much like shows like the OA or Sense8 that I was real inspired by. Awesome. And to kind of doing some of that. So for anybody that's excited about diving further down the Nothing More rabbit hole, this is for you.
Awesome. Very awesome. With COVID sort of wrapping up, but not completely, and some people are still really struggling. There's some people out there that are just having such a hard time. Is there some words of inspiration that you would have for these people?
That's a great question. Gosh, I mean, we all need each other. I think that's something we realized, and with everybody's ideas and opinions, and them being put on the internet for everyone to see, I think we really kind of like showed how evil and dismissive we can be with our own thoughts toward each other. So I would really say, that it's like we're all on the same team. Like, we all have struggles, we all go through shit, and to just remember that we're all human, and that we can get through this together. Granted, I would like to think, that we're getting out of it, and seemingly so, that the world is, kind of going back to normal and everything. So hopefully, that can happen. That's what I would tell them, I think.
And on another note, we're actually putting out a book about the way music influences people's lives.
Okay.
So my question to you is there a time in your life when it was kind of not a semi-dark time, or not the best of times, and you leaned on music heavily? Is there some way that music pulled you through? Yeah,
absolutely. In maybe it was 2010 or 2011. No, it was 2010. I was really struggling. Just kind of, I'd gone through a bad breakup, and was, I don't know, just like really, I just had so much anxiety, and I had to cut out like a ton of negative people and things in my life, and even certain songs or whatever that were more negative. I was just in such a vulnerable and sensitive state, that I had to find solace and shelter in music. And bands like Thrice, and bands like even the David Crowder band or whatever, it's just some of those records really helped me kind of just sit and feel like, I know it sounds cheesy or emo or whatever, but it's like, it's going to be okay. We all go through those things, and you can make fun of anybody or whatever for that, but it's, man, we all feel pain, and we all hurt. And I would definitely, be, what y'all are doing is awesome.
Yes.
That is, music is extremely powerful and extremely helpful. And even in Nothing More, our first record was called Shelter, because we wanted like our lyrics and our music to be a shelter to those in need. So I would say that mission statement is still the same in regards to finding connection through our music and realizing you're not alone. You know, we go through these things together. Everybody does. So if you can find something that hits you in the heartstrings and in the gut, like latch onto it, it's helpful.
Awesome. With your crazy schedule, everything going on, how do you recharge?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of the times I'm gonna do nothing, and I'm so happy to have a hotel bed or something on a day off, and that's
the best.
Yeah,
sometimes.
talk to your family, talk to my wife, my son, and what shows they're watching or what movie they've just watched, and I'm gonna watch that movie and just go out to eat with our crew, with our friends, and it's like, let's try this restaurant, let's go to an escape room, let's do something a little maybe unorthodox or you wouldn't think that a band might be into or something, but it's those normal things, if you will, that it's like, it helps you like taste a bit of normality.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to do, honestly.
Awesome. Well, we're so excited tonight here, House of Blues, Las Vegas, CD release party for Spirits, nothing more. Is there anything else you want to say to your fans out there?
And I hope you like the record. Soak it up. It's deep. Go down the rabbit hole. Hope you dig the songs. We're really proud of them.
Very awesome. Make sure you get it. Stay tuned for the graphic novel. Take your spirit test. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.